Today, we're going to address the question I get asked the most out of any other question about cruising, and that is tipping. Stay tuned. Hi everyone, Rob from Sea-kers, and today we are going to be talking about tipping. Yes, I know this is a very, very sensitive subject. It always brings a whole bunch of different people coming into the equation saying, I don't feel like tipping is required. I feel tipping should be included. It gets really, really crazy when people talk about tipping in general. But we're going to talk about exactly what is tipping on a cruise ship, how is it taken care of, what is required of you, and how to kind of navigate any of the questions you might have about tipping when it comes to a cruise ship and on a cruise line. Now, we're going to look at this in the perspective of the American cruise lines. I'm not going to talk about any of the foreign cruise lines out there and their tipping policies, etc. We're basically talking about the big ones: Carnival, Norwegian Cruise Lines, Royal Caribbean, Celebrity, Princess, HAL, you name it, those Americanized cruise lines. That's the ones we're going to be talking about. And we're going to talk about exactly how it was before, how it is now, and what you are required to do, or if anything, at any given time. So let's get into this. But before we do, I would just like to thank everybody who has become a member of the Cruise Seekers community. Thank you so much for subscribing. We love you all. Now, if you have not become a member of the Cruise Seekers crew, hey, think about subscribing and turn that notification bell on. If you love information about cruising, if you love cruise deals, this is where you want to be. We are so close to 10,000 subscribers, and we hope you can become one of them along with everybody else. So again, think about subscribing, turn that notification bell on. Thanks in advance. Oh, and while you're down there, hit that like button. It really does help that YouTube algorithm. If people have questions about tipping, it will help them find this video. So now let's get into exactly what is tipping on a cruise line, how it's taken care of, and how it was before and how it is now. All right, so now let's have a little bit of story time and talk about how gratuities used to be handled back in the day. We're talking about 20 years ago. Well, you used to get these things called envelopes that would show up a few days before your cruise ended, and you would then stuff those envelopes with cash based upon a recommended amount that was usually on the envelope, and the envelope will have a name of a job on that envelope. It might say head waiter, or it might say your main dining room waiter, or it might say your assistant waiter, or your cabin steward, or your assistant cabin steward. And you would just fill them up with money and you would hand them off as your cruise ended, and that was it, and that's how it was handled. Now it's different. Now you have auto gratuities. What those are daily fees per person per night that will show up on your shipboard account. Now these numbers are anywhere between $14.50 a day per person per night, all the way up to $20 per person per day per night. And it can even go higher than that, especially if you are in different types of cabin categories, such as the suites or the haven or the retreat. Those prices can go up accordingly as you go into those more elevated, rooms and stuff like that, where you have more people that are servicing you. Now, these fees are not just for those 5 people that I talked about where you used to get envelopes. The cruise lines have made it such that these pooled tips affect a lot more people than those people that you have direct contact with. A lot of people in the back of the house will get involved in this tip pool. It's very important to understand that, because if you do have a service problem with, say, your waiter or with your cabin steward, you need to talk to someone who's in charge of that waiter or cabin steward first. And if that doesn't rectify the situation, then go to guest services and try to get a hold of the hotel manager and get that situation rectified. Because the worst thing you can do is actually reduce or get rid of those daily gratuities completely. Because what that does, it just doesn't affect the people that you're targeting. It affects a much wider net of people. So just understand that. I try not to get anywhere near about removing these gratuities. I usually can get people to get what I need taken care of before I have to even think about doing that. So I have never had to do that yet. Hopefully I never will. It's just a situation. Now, the other thing you can do with these daily service fees is you can just not have to deal with them at all when you're on your cruise. You can prepay them. As a matter of fact, I highly recommend prepaying them, because when you do that, you're basically locked in at that rate. When you prepay them, it doesn't go up or down. It just stays at that rate. It's the way it's going to be. A lot of times over recent times, the gratuities have been increasing at a pretty good clip. So if you prepay your gratuities, especially when you book way out in advance, then that will lock you in at today's rate. That's a good thing. The other thing you can do too is purchase some of the bundled packages. A lot of bundled packages, such as the Have It All package with Holland America, the Princess Plus, the All Included with Celebrity, they include tips as well. When you do that, you are basically prepaying your gratuities and you don't have to worry about them either. So either prepay your gratuities if you're not getting a bundled package, or buy one of those bundle packages that does include gratuities. That will kind of lock it in. You won't have to worry about them. Now, these auto gratuities are not going to be the only gratuities you're going to encounter while you're on your cruise. They're going to be basically the majority of them. It's going to cover a huge amount of all your gratuities that you have to worry about. Well, you're going to do some other things on the ship that might require different gratuities. You might purchase a drink package if you didn't get a bundled package. If you did purchase a drink package separately, you will notice when you check out either in the cruise planner or if you purchased it on the ship, a different line item for gratuities to be added onto that, charge for your drink package. It's going to be there. It's usually anywhere between 18 to 20%. It's always there. Anytime you buy a drink a la carte, if you didn't get any packages, you will see a charge for gratuities. There will also be a line for additional tip. You do not have to fill in the additional tip line. There should be an automatic gratuity on those a la carte purchases. Same thing with the spa. If you do any spa services or you go get a facial or a manicure or a pedicure, any of those things, there will be a service fee already associated to your bill automatically. If you want to tip anything extra, there should be a line for additional tips, but that is completely discretionary. You do not have to fill that number in. Now, if you purchase a package for dining, or you purchase a package for, say, a soda package for your kids or anything along those lines, and you do that ahead of time on a cruise planner, you will more than likely notice a charge for gratuities with those purchases. So what that means is all your tips are covered already for all your drinks and all your specialty dining. You do not have to leave any additional tip for those specialty dinings that you are using with your package or with any drink that you purchase through your package. Those are already taken care of with the purchase of the package. Now, a lot of people do give extra tips here and there to their specialty dining restaurant waiter if they did a phenomenal job, if they have a really good drink runner running back and forth from your Lido deck pool spot and he's just always keeping an eye on you. A lot of people give some extra tip here and there. If you have a favorite bartender that is doing a great job for you, a lot of people give them extra cash here and there as well. So it doesn't preclude you from doing that, but just have you know that this is extra on top of what you've already paid in gratuities. Now, when you're off the ship on your cruise vacation, there might be other encounters where you'll see tipping occur. The first one being the porters. When you get to the cruise port, the first thing you're going to see is these people taking care of your bags. A lot of people give $2 to $5 per bag to these folks to make sure that their bags are handled well and get to their room. Those are your porters at the cruise terminal. Now, you will also encounter the porters when you leave the cruise ship, and this is the best time to use them because when you use a porter to disembark, to get out of the cruise terminal, they will actually get you to the front of the line during customs. It's a great service. It's really nice to kind of spend that extra money to kind of have that little extra service to get you out of the terminal faster. I always use a porter when I leave a cruise terminal. It makes things so much easier. Now, when you do take excursions, a lot of times your tour coordinator and your driver will be expecting tips. Now, it's not required to give them any tips, but they will be there. And if you don't want to feel awkward, you just think about it ahead of time. Think about a tip for your tour conductors and your drivers when you do your excursions. And another little interesting location where you might see some tipping occur is in the casino. And we're not just talking about the drink runners bringing you drinks. The other thing you might see is if you see someone make a big hit on the craps table or on the roulette table, or if they had a really good run on the blackjack table, you might see people tip their dealer. And now let's talk a little bit about some of the people you really do not have to tip. You do not have to tip any of the officers on the cruise ship. You don't have to do it. They don't expect it. As a matter of fact, it might make them feel a little awkward and odd. The other thing you want to make sure when you are giving a tip or some sort of consideration to service people always please just give cash. I know a lot of people like to give, personalized gifts, but these people don't have a lot of space on the cruise ship. They are in very, very confined quarters, usually sharing it with somebody. They don't have a lot of space for gifts in their, in their room. And they might be on this cruise ship for a long time still because they got 5-6 more months left on their contract. And if they were to accumulate a whole bunch of gifts, where the heck they're going to put it all, and how the heck they're going to get it off the ship and get it to home. Don't necessarily please give gifts. The best gift you can give them is cash. It really does help them. It also does help their families tremendously. Now, the last thing I'm going to leave you is with what I do. Now, this doesn't mean you have to do it. This is just what I do. I know a lot of people ask me, hey, Rob, what do you do? And then they just follow along. Well, this is what I do. Basically, what I do is I go to the bank before I go to my cruise. I get about $200 in cash. And that's going to be in a variety of different denominations for the cash. I'll have maybe about $75 to $100 in singles. I might have some fives in there. I'll have a few tens, and I'll have a couple of 20s or maybe 3 20s. It's anywhere between $200 to $250 depending upon the length of my cruise. And then throughout my cruise, for my drink runners, as my drink runners are getting me drinks, I'll throw them a buck. If they keep me really, really, well lubricated, I guess that's the right word, while I'm at the pool deck, at the end of the day, I might give them $5 to show my additional appreciation for what they've done for me. If I'm at the bar, I will always give my bartender a buck when he makes me a drink and puts it in front of me for me or my wife, whoever it might be who I'm with. I always give a buck per drink. Now, if my favorite bartender is there at the end of the cruise and they did a great job for me and they kept me entertained, I might throw them a nice little extra tip in an envelope at the end of the cruise, letting them know that I really appreciated what they did for us. Now, for our cabin steward, I always usually start off right away giving them an extra $25 if they do everything that a cabin steward is expected to do. Now, if they do anything extra for us, if they make the bed softer for my wife who has a bad back, if they bring me buckets of ice, if they remember my name, if they're personable, all these little things, that can definitely increase and increase and increase. Now, my prices that I usually sometimes give my cabin steward is anywhere between $25 to $50, depending upon the person. But it usually starts at $20 and it just kind of goes up from there. Just what I do. You don't have to do it. Now, for the wait staff. The wait staff, if you got my time dining, and that can switch back and forth. A lot of times, if I have a good service, I'm in and out really, really fast. If I want, I'll leave a $5 bill there. And that's just for, the waiter and the assistant waiter. They can split it up how they see fit. Now, if I have a scheduled dining time and my wait staff gets to know me and they do all the little things that make it really special to have a single waiter and a single assistant waiter for the whole cruise, they know what you like to drink. It's there when you show up. They know what kind of bread you like. It's there in the bread basket when you show up. They know what kind of butter you like or how much butter you like. They have the right amount of butter on your table when you show up. They do those little things. They give you good suggestions knowing upon what you had before. Oh, he likes crab. He likes seafood. He will then maybe give me some little pointers on pretty cool items on the menu that I might have missed. Those little things, they're really, really important for us. And if that happens, we do give our waiter and our assistant waiter a nice little envelope at the end of the cruise. So there you go, folks. That's the way I tip. That's what tipping is on a cruise ship. That's the kind of things you can expect with gratuities and tipping when you go on your cruise ship. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hey, give it a big thumbs up. It really does help the YouTube algorithm. If someone's looking to figure out how the heck did they tip on a cruise ship, it will help them find this video. If you have not become a member of the Cruise Seekers crew already, hey, think about subscribing. Turn that notification bell on. We are so close to 10,000 subscribers. We would love for you to be one of them. If you have any questions about tipping whatsoever, leave them down below. I would love to hear from you. If you have any ideas of what you do for tipping and you want to share, leave them down below. I'm sure the community would love to hear from you as well. So until we talk again, this is Rob from Cruise Seekers reminding each and every one of you to always seek the seas. Bye now.